Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. Are you mirroring their buying style? Listen to this episode, see what I'm talking about. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hi, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. See, each one of us has a different buying style, right? You have the way that you buy. The person near you, next to you, your neighbors, whoever has a different buying style. Even if they look similar to yours, there's going to be variations on that. And one thing really important to do when you're selling someone is to figure out the other person's buying style and to mirror them. And what does that mean? Let's say you're the type of person that likes to do a lot of research before you buy. You're going to have trouble asking for the sale sooner because you think that the person that you're dealing with or the people that you're dealing with want to do a lot of research before they buy as well, when they may not be, that kind of style. If you're the kind of person that buys more impulsively, you will get frustrated by people that like to do a lot of research because you're thinking, well, why won't you buy? You know everything you need to know. Just do it. Just do it. And I very often talking about my two sons who are very different brains. One's a financial analyst and one's a graphic designer. So left brain and right brain, they don't buy the same way. My older son analyzes his decisions. So he's researching. And his brother is more of a see it, want it, get it kind of a thing. So you have to know that if you're dealing with someone that is more visual, see it, want it, get it, then show them the visuals, talk in visual pictures, ask for the sale in terms of the results that you want, that they want, talk in terms of painting the picture for them and saying, is this what you want? Yeah, great. Let's make that happen. And that sale could happen a lot faster versus someone that likes to do a lot of research where you actually might want to limit it. I think I've mentioned this before. I know in my speaking, but I've probably done it here. There's a book called The Jolt Effect, Jolt. And it talks about indecision, where the customer is already sold on you, but just won't pull the trigger because there's some indecision. And JOLT being an acronym for judging the indecision, overcoming the objection, right? Or I'm sorry, it's offering a suggestion, limiting the amount of research, that's the L, and then T is taking risk off the table if you can. So for people that like to do a lot of research, you might need to limit their research and say to them at a certain point, I could provide you with more information, but it's not going to tell you any more about how we can get you great results than what you have already. Right? It's just going to be more of the same information there. So what is it that's holding them back at this point? Right. And that book will help with that. But just a short answer for that is they might need you to make the suggestion to say, hey, if I was you, here's what I would do. Go with this package. You can always upgrade that later. You can add these things on later, or go with this. If you sell by person, this amount of a guaranteed number of people, you can add on more, but you're still above our minimum. So you're fine. Right. Offering a suggestion there so that they're not making the decision all on their own. And that's because there are errors of omission where you don't make the decision and therefore you don't get that result, and errors of commission where you made the decision and the results are now on you. And everybody knows you made the decision, and some people just don't want to be on the hook by themselves. So saying, hey, if I was you, here's what I would do. And if that's what they were thinking, like, oh, good, I'm not the only one. Great. Now you can make a decision. So mirroring their buying style is just like mirroring their body language, right? If their body language is very animated, you can be more animated. If their body language is quieter and you're animated, you want to quiet your body language down. Just like when you're talking to someone who speaks more softly, you tend to speak more softly, just naturally. And if they speak louder, you tend to speak louder. I talk with my hands. If you're watching the video, you see them pop up into the video every once in a while because I just can't help it. I have to talk with my hands, try to keep them out of the picture, but I can't always do that. If I'm with someone who is much more closed and quiet in their body language, I will clasp my hands together so that they will stop flailing around, because that's what they naturally want to do. Kind of like when I get pictures taken of me speaking on stage. My wife hates it because there's my hands just spread out. And she's like, I hate that pose. I said, that's because you never come and see me speak. If you did, you'd see that 80% of the time, that's what I look like on stage. Because unless I have a handheld microphone, my hands are open. My body language is open to you, the audience. And it's just a natural thing. I don't think about that. I know that because I've studied this, but it's just the natural way that I do that, of showing you that my body language is open. Just like I stand in the front of the stage. I don't stand back 5 feet from the edge. I stand at the front of the stage and I walk, because I want to show you I'm as close as I can get to you, but I'm here on this stage. So without falling off, here's where I'm going to be with you. So mirroring their body buying style is like mirroring how much they write in an email or in a text message. They write long, you can write long. They write short, you want to write short. Mirroring their buying style is understanding, listening to the way that they buy, the way that they're questioning, the way that they're responding to your answers, right? And then mirroring that so that if there's someone that needs more detail, give it to them. But if there's someone that doesn't, and you give them the detail, you could actually turn them off. You could actually do what's called selling yourself out of the sale, because you're presenting too much information that they don't need, and you're filling their head with too much. I've often said this: if you hear very often, you've given us so much to think about, right? That could be your fault. You're going to hear it sometimes, because there are some people that just, boom, their heads are just full. You don't know how full they were before they got to you, and now they're full. If you hear it a lot or almost all the time, that's when you have to look back to yourself and say, hey, maybe I'm giving too much information. Maybe I'm not mirroring their style. And maybe I could have closed that sale sooner if I would have asked. Because we know if you don't ask, the answer's always no. So mirror their buying style the same way you mirror their body language. You mirror how much they write in their writing style. Mirror their buying style as well, and you'll close more deals sooner. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com, alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again, email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.